All right, hello, wonderful, beautiful people. Today we're going to show you how to use 3 free tools to create your own character, 3D character, and then put it into a game engine like Unity. So here we have the website Womp 3D. Womp 3D is an online, completely free. It's in alpha stage right now where you can create 3D models of various kinds. So here you'll see on the screen is my version, and I call this character Super VR Boy. And Super VR Boy has a headset and so on. And now all I did is use primitive shapes. I am not a 3D modeler by any means. I was able to create this character, just getting to know the tools in a very short period of time. Once you've done that, you can actually go ahead and actually download the 3D model. So you can download the 3D model as an object. I've already done so. It does take some time, some warning, and I've gone ahead and extracted the zip file and renamed the file here. And you'll notice you have an object file and then a whole bunch of texture files as well. Now, what you're going to need to do, because this object file is just on its own, you're going to go ahead and use another free tool called AccuRig, which is completely free. And I've already installed it, and I'm going to go ahead and now load the object file from my desktop. As this is loading, what you can do is actually check the model. You want to make sure that it is nicely arranged in the middle as best as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and expand this, and you'll notice that the symmetry line is there. So I'm going to go ahead and force symmetry, and I'm going to go ahead and lower this slightly because it needs to be centered a little bit off. So that's another thing you want to make sure you do in Womp as you are making symmetrical characters. You want to make sure that it's close enough to the 50% mark as possible. I've gone ahead, and now what I'm going to do is click on Rig Body. And what this is going to do is take the model, evaluate the joints, and you'll notice on the right-hand side here, you'll see that there are automatic rigs already in place. What you can do then is go ahead and click on the different points on the model, the different rigging points, and this one looks okay. I'm going to go ahead and move up this to make it similar to the neckline over here. I'm going to go ahead and move this down to the wrist because we don't have any fingers for this model. It will show you what to do as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit over there and get as close as possible. It doesn't have to be exact for our purposes. I'm going to go ahead and move this down, move the belly button down. I'm going to make the knees just at this point over, let's say around here. Make the ankles around there and just zoom out a bit. And yeah, that looks okay. So I'm going to go ahead now, rig the hands. Now, because we don't have any hands, we don't have any fingers, I would say 0, and go ahead next. As this is loading, what it's going to do is calculate the rig skin, and you can then save this as an FBX. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and move forward. One of the assets we're going to use, we're going to be plugging this into Unity. The package that we use here is the starter assets, the third-party character controller, and this already allows you to have jumping, movement, and animations all included in the package, and makes it a lot easier. So we're going to go ahead, let's go back to AccuRig. Okay, this is going to take some time. So while we're doing that, here is Unity. And in Unity, I've already gone ahead and installed the package. So quickly, let's take a look at the environment. You can see that when you zoom out, we have the character, the default character that they have, along with its rigged armature, and as well as the camera. It has something known as Cinemachine where you move around. So if I go ahead and actually click play here, let's see the demo, and you can see that I can walk. There are actually sound effects, and if I click shift and run, it runs in place. The camera is following it along. I'm going to go ahead and go like this. I can actually then move the camera around with my mouse as well to see where the character is, and I can walk up the stairs. I can also jump hitting the space bar. So the WASD keys as well as the space bar and shift and movement will allow it to run, and then space allows it to jump. So that's the demo in its place right now. Let's go ahead and stop that. Let's go back to AccuRig and see what's happening in the background. As you can see, here's the character nicely rigged along the way in AccuRig. We're going to be saving this in a second. But what we want to do is actually save this. If we go ahead and look around the model, doesn't look too bad. You'll notice some um, artifacts and stuff, but this won't matter in a second. I'm going to go ahead and save this as a T pose. So go ahead, File, and Export. And I'm going to export it as FBX. And you'll notice here there's an option for Unity. And I'm going to keep the texture as well. I'm going to export it, and I'm going to create a new folder called Super VR Boy Rigged. And I'm going to go ahead and save that in the rigged file itself. So I'm going to head and save that. As is exporting, now we can go back to Unity and we can import that file that we just saved. Let's go ahead to our download folder and let's go back to our rig. And you'll notice that it also creates a texture folder. So we're going to be importing both the object as well as the textures, which is actually in this first folder here. And I've created folders ahead of time. So we'll go ahead. Let's go ahead to Unity. Let's pop in the FBX model, which is another model. You'll notice over here now, if I go ahead and click on it, we have the model in the bottom right corner. You'll see that it's nicely, you can rotate it and things like that. But we want to also import the textures. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to this folder, select all, and head back, pop in the textures here. Once you've popped in the textures, what Unity will do is automatically assign them to the model. There you go, nicely organized. Now you'll notice something strange here, that the model is actually see-through or transparent, but that's okay. We're going to fix that in a second. The first thing you need to do though is make sure when you clicked on your model at the top here, you want to make sure it is a humanoid. And then you want to make sure that the animations are clicked. Go ahead and click apply. What that's going to do is take the humanoid character and apply the rigging points that we did. And now what we can do is actually take this and drag it over to the scene, to the hierarchy scene. But now we're going to go over here and zoom in. Now you look, he's very, very tiny. So what we're going to do is going to scale it up. Let's say 10 by 10 by 10. Let's zoom out again. That looks about right. I'm going to go ahead now and move this into the player armature, the default one that we have over here. And now the next thing we're going to actually do is we're going to reroute everything. So first I'm going to hide the geometry and hide the skeleton so we just see the skeleton of our specific thing. And we're going to go over here onto the player armature, and you'll notice that over here we have an armature avatar. We're going to change that to our new avatar so that the movement now gets carried over. So I'm going to go ahead and press play, and we're going to see if this works. You'll notice all the character movement moves over, but you'll notice it looks a little bit strange. It looks a little bit see-through. There's the material doesn't look too great. So all we need to do is go back to our model, head over here. We're going to select all the material files here. We're going to extract from prefab, and we're going to put it in the materials folder that I've created. Select folder. And then we're going to go back to the materials over here. And we're going to take all the materials that we have, select all of them, and under source surface type, we're going to call it opaque. And you'll notice now that if we zoom into our character over here, you'll notice that now that looks a lot better than it did before. Let's undo that for a second. You'll notice that everything was see-through. If I redo that, and I've changed the material, and now go ahead, I'm going to hit play. And here we are with our character. We can move around. There are some artifacts. That's only because of the original model, but I'm going to go ahead and jump, shift and run. The camera follows him along just like we can. And here we are with the Super VR boy, just like that. Go ahead and jump up. Having too much fun with this. And here we go. And that's it. So recapping, what we did is we went to the website, Womp, right? Womp, alpha.womp3d.com. We use AccuRig to then rig that character after it was downloaded as an object file, and then saved it as an FBX ready for Unity. In Unity, we also upgraded to this package and moved everything over. And at the end, what happens is we have a nice character that we made from scratch, a 3D character, and that's it. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below and we'll take those questions and answer them as best as possible. All right, take care.